Uh, Buch. Orville. Teasel couldn't stop looking at him. The old man was spread out quietly on his face by the edge of the cliff, and Teasel could hardly breathe. Because of me, just this once in his life, he got careless, and I didn't warn him to stay down. He began crawling toward him to cradle him. The kid'll swing around, Lester said hoarsely. Too hoarsely, Teasel thought. Reluctant, he turned, worried about his men. They were only 7 now, tight-faced, fingering their rifles, looking next to useless. All except Shingleton. I'm telling you, the kid will swing around, Lester said. The knee was ripped out of his pants. He'll swing up there behind us. The men jerked to stare up the rise behind them as if they expected the kid to be there already. He's going to come all right, the young deputy said. There was a brown liquid stain seeping through the seat of his gray pants, and the men had shifted away from him. Dear God, I want out of here. Get me out of here. Go on then, Teasel said. Run up the slope. See how far you get before I shoot you. The deputy swallowed. What are you waiting for? Teasel said. Go on. Run up the slope. No, the deputy said. I won't. Then stop it. But we have to get up there, Lester said, before he beats us to it. If we wait too long, he'll make it up there and we'll never get off this ledge. The dark clouds hulking closer lit up with lightning. It thundered again, long and loud. What's that? I heard something, Lester said. His knee was scraped red where it showed through the rip in his pants. The thunder, Shingle said. It's playing tricks. No, I heard it too, Mitch said. Listen. The kid. It was like weak vomiting, like a man choking. Orville. He was starting to move, hunched up, knees and head, keeping his stomach off the ground, while he clutched his chest, holding himself together. He looked like a caterpillar raising its back for traction to inch forward, but he wasn't going anywhere. Back arched high, he stiffened and collapsed. There was blood dripping from his arms, and he was drooling, coughing blood. Teasel was stopped in disbelief. He had been sure Orville was dead. Orville, he said. And then he was hurrying before he knew it. Stay down! He had to remind himself, pressing low to the rocks, trying not to make himself the target Orville had. But Orville was too close to the edge. Teasel was sure he would be seen from the woods below. He took hold of Orville's shoulder and struggled to drag him back to the furrow. But Orville was too heavy. It was taking too long. Any second the kid might shoot. He tugged at Orville and pulled and dragged, and slowly he moved, but not quick enough. The stones were too jagged. Orville's clothes were catching on the sharp rocks near the edge of the cliff. Help me, Teasel shouted to the men behind him. Orville coughed more blood. Somebody help me, give me a hand. And then in a rush, somebody was beside him, helping him. Both dragged Orville back from the edge, and all at once they were safe. Teasel let out his breath in a gasp. He wiped sweat from his eyes and didn't need to look to see who'd helped him. Shingleton. And Shingleton was grinning, laughing, not loud, not hilarious, but laughing, just the same. It was mostly all inside him. His chest was heaving and he was laughing. He made it. He didn't shoot. We made it. And sure, it was funny, and Teasel started laughing too. Then Orville coughed more blood, and Teasel saw the pain on Orville's face, and nothing seemed funny after that. He reached to unbutton Orville's bloody shirt. Pause. Take it easy, Orville. We'll have a look and fix you up. He tried to open the shirt gently, but the blood had stuck the clothes to the flesh. He finally had to tug at the shirt to free it, and Orville groaned. The wound was not something Teasel wanted to look at very long. There was a rank gas coming out of the open chest. Damn. How bad, Orville said, wincing. Don't you worry about it, Teasel said. We'll fix you up. He was unbuttoning his own shirt as he spoke, slipping it off his shoulders. I ask you, how bad? Each word was a distinct, pained whisper. You've seen enough things wounded, Orville. You know how bad it is, as much as I do. He was rolling his sweaty shirt into a ball, setting it on the hole in Orville's chest. Immediately the shirt was soaking blood. I want to hear you tell me. I ask you. All right, Orville, save your strength. Don't talk. His hands were sticky with blood as he buttoned Orville's shirt over the bundle he had put on the wound. I won't lie to you, and I know you don't want me to lie. There's a lot of blood and hard to see for sure, but it's my guess he hit a lung. Oh my Jesus. Now I want you to stop talking and save your strength. Please, you can't leave me. Don't leave me. That's the last thing you have to worry about. We're taking you back and we're going to do everything we can for you. But you have to do something for me too, you hear? You have to concentrate on holding your chest. I have my shirt inside yours and I want you to hold it close to where you're hit. We have to stop the bleeding. Can you hear me? Do you understand? Orville licked his lips and nodded weakly. And Teasel's mouth tasted full of dried dust. There wasn't a hope that a rolled-up shirt would stop the bleeding from a wound that size. If his mouth stayed dusty and he felt streaks of sweat trickle down his bare back. The sun was long gone behind the clouds, but the heat was continuing to press on him, and he thought of water, realizing how thirsty Owen must be. He knew he shouldn't give him any. He knew that from Korea, a man shot in the chest or stomach would vomit water he drank, and the wound would rip larger and the pain would get worse. But Orwell was licking at his lips, and Teasel couldn't bear to watch his pain. I'll give him a little. A little won't hurt. There was a canteen snapped to Orwell's belt. He worked it loose. The canvas cover rough and unscrewed the cap. He worked it loose, the canvas cover rough, and unscrewed the cap, pouring a little into Orwell's mouth. Orwell coughed, and the water bubbled out mixed with blood. Dear God, Teasel said. For a moment his mind was blank. He didn't know what to do next. Then he thought of the radio and swung over to it. Teasel calling state police. State police, emergency. He raised his voice. Emergency! The radio crackled with static from the clouds. Teasel calling state police. Emergency! Nee, Teasel calling state police. Emergency! He had been determined not to radio for help no matter what happened. Even when he saw the crashed and burning helicopter, he had not called. But Orville was going to die. State police, come in. The radio shrieked with lightning, and in the ebb a voice came through, indistinct and raspy. State here. Teasel couldn't waste time asking him to say it again. I can't hear you, he said hurriedly. Our helicopter has crashed. I have a wounded man here. I need another helicopter for him. Done. I can't hear you. I need another helicopter. Impossible. An electric storm moving in. Every ground grounded. But damn it, he's going to die. The voice answered something, but Teasel couldn't make it out. And then the voice dissolved in static, and when it came back, it was in the middle of a sentence. I can't hear you, Teasel shouted. Sure picked. Guy tried to hunt. Green Beret. Medal of Honor. What? Say that again. Green Beret, Lester said. The voice was started to repeat, broke up, never came back again. It started to rain, light drops speckling the dust and dirt. in, pelting cool in his bare back. The black clouds shadowed over. Lightning crackled and lit up the cliff like a spotlight, and as fast as the spotlight came on, it went off, and the shadows returned, bringing with them shockwave of exploding thunder. Medal of Honor? Lester said to Teasel. Is that what you brought us after? A war hero? A fucking Green Beret? He didn't shoot, Mitch said. Teasel looked sharply at him, afraid he was out of control, but Mitch wasn't. He was excited, trying to tell them something, and Teasel knew what it was. He had already thought of it and decided it was no good. When you dragged Orville back, Mitch was saying, he didn't shoot. He isn't down there anymore. He's swinging around behind us, and now's our chance to move. No, Teasel told him. But we've got a chance to. No, he might be swinging around, but what if he isn't? What if he doesn't want just one target? And he's waiting down there for the whole lot of us to get careless and show ourselves. Their faces went ashen. The clouds unloaded and the rain came down for real. It came and it came, lashing at them solidly. Teasel had never been in anything like it. The wind was whipping the rain at his eyes, driving it into his mouth. Storm my ass, it's a goddamn cloudburst. He was lying in the water. He didn't think it could get worse, and then the rain increased, and he was almost buried in the water. Lightning crackled, bright like the sun. Darkness instantly was everywhere. Darkness that got blacker and blacker until it was like night. Only the time was late afternoon, and rain lashing blind at his eyes. Teasel couldn't even see the edge of the cliff. Thunder shook him. What is this? He shielded his eyes. Orville was lying face up, mouth open in the rain. He'll drown, Teasel thought. His mouth will fill up with water and he'll breathe it in and drown. He squinted at his men stretched out in the water on the ledge and realized that Orville wasn't the only one who might drown. Where they all lay was now the bed of a raging stream. There was swift water rushing down the rise behind them, surging over them, sweeping toward the edge of the cliff, and though he couldn't see the ledge, he knew what it looked like. It was the top of a waterfall. If the storm got any worse, they'll all be washed over the side. And Orville would be the first to go. He grabbed Orville's legs. Shingleton, help me, he called, rain driving into his mouth. Through his words, it thundered loud. Grab his arms, Shingleton, we're clearing it out. The temperature had gone down rapidly. The rain was now shocking cold and his bare back as he remembered stories about men caught in flash floods in the mountains, about men washed down draws and thrown over cliffs and crushed and broken on the rocks below. We have to clear out. But the kid, somebody yelled. He can't see us now. He can't see anything. But the kid might be waiting for us up there. We don't have time to worry about him. We have to go off this ledge before the storm gets worse. It'll sweep us over. Lightning flashed brilliantly. He shook his head at what he saw. The men, their faces. In the lightning and rain, their faces changed to white skulls. As suddenly as they came, the skulls were gone, and he was blinking darkness, and the thunder hit him like a string of mortar explosions. Damn, da habe ich das letzte Mal genau vom Höhepunkt aufgehört. I'm here, Shingleton yelled, grabbing Orville's arms. I've got him, let's go. They heaved him out of the water, bearing toward the rise. The rain doubled, heavier and faster. It was streaming at them almost sideways, drenching them, pouring off them in a constant rush. Teasel slipped. He fell hard on his shoulder and dropped Orville into the swirling current. He struggled, splashing to grab Orville, to keep Orville's head above water, then slipped again so his own head went underwater, and he breathed. Damn. He breathed. The water he sucked up his nose choked his nasal passages and spewed out the two small holes at the back of the roof of his mouth, wrenching them wide. He was wild, frantic, coughing, now up out of the water. Somebody had him. Shingleton was pulling him. No, Orville, grab Orville. They couldn't find him. He'll go over the side. Here, somebody yelled. Teasel blinked rain out of his eyes, trying to see who it was. Orville, I've got him. The water rose to Teasel's knees. He waited. Rutscht das? Nee. Das gibt's doch nicht. Alter, ich find's nicht, Mann. Legs churning to where the man held Orville's head out of the water. Also kein Wunder, dass ich immer bei so viel Rechtschreibfehler in Texten habe. Ich sehe es nicht, Digga. The current had him, the man said. It was Ward, and he was tugging at Orville, working to drag him toward the rise. He was drifting toward the cliff. He bumped me going past. Then Shingleton was there. They all lifted Orville from the water and staggered with him toward the slope. When they reached it, Teasel understood why the water was rising so fast. There was a trough in the hillside, and the streams on top were draining into it, flooding down upon them. We have to move farther along, Teasel said. We have to find an easier way up. The wind shifted and the rain lanced at their faces from the left. As one, they stumbled toward the right. The wind helped them along. But where were the rest of them, of the men? Teasel wanted to know. Were they already climbing the slope? Were they still on the ledge? Why in the hell weren't they pitching in to move over? The water rose above his knees. He hoisted Orville higher and they staggered on, and then the wind shifted again. It was no longer pushing them the way they wanted to go. It was shoving them back the way they had come. And they were straining into the full force of the wind and the rain. Shingleton had his arms around Orville's shoulders. Teasel had the legs. Ward was cradling the back, and they slipped and stumbled through the rain until they came at last to where the rise seemed easiest. There was a flood gushing down this part of the slope too, but not as strong as back at the trough. And there were big rocks jutting up for handholds. If only he could see the top, Teasel thought. If only he could be sure the rocks were like that right up to the top. They started climbing. Shingleton was first. He went up backward, stooping to hold Orville up by the shoulders. He wedged a foot behind a rock and back up onto it, and then squinted to see another rock behind him, and wedged a foot behind that one and backed up onto it as well. Teasel and Ward followed, bent over, taking most of Orville's weight, letting Shingleton worry about where to put his feet so he could back up higher. The stream rushed harder down the slope, swashing against their legs. But where were the others? Teasel wanted to know. Why in Christ weren't they helping? The rain was biting cold on his back. He was lifting Orville blindly, and he felt Shingleton ahead, backing up the slope, pulling Orville with him, and Teasel's arms were aching in their sockets, muscles twisting with Orville's weight. It was taking too long. They wouldn't be able to keep carrying him much longer, he knew. They had to get to the top, and the Ward slipped and fell, and Teasel almost lost his grip on Orville. They tumbled flat on the slope and slid down a few feet, sucked by the current as they all scrambled to hang onto Orville. They had him. They started working farther up the slope. And that was as far as they got with him. Shingleton all at once yelled and came falling past Orville, slamming into Teasel's chest. They reeled backward, falling, and Teasel lost hold of Orville, and the next thing he knew, he was flat on his back at the bottom of the slope, water swelling over him, rocks tumbling painfully against him. Damn, I couldn't help it, Shingle cried. The rock slipped out from under me. Orville, the currents got him. Teasel splashed toward the cliff's edge. He wiped his arm across his eyes, blinking to see in the rain. He couldn't let himself go too near the edge. The current was too strong there. But God, he had to stop Orville. He sloped, groping closer, wiping his eyes. Lightning flashed, and there, distinct bright, was Orville's body flipping over the side. Then it was black again, and Teasel's stomach heaved. Hot tears mixed with the cold rain in his face, and he screamed until his throat seized shut. God damn those bastards! I'll kill them for not helping! Shingleton loomed beside him. Orville, can you see him? Teasel shouldered past. He made it to the rise. I'll kill them. He grabbed for a rock and drew himself up and thrust a foot against a rock and shoved himself up and clawed and dug for handholds through the water sucking past him. All at once he reached the top, bolting into the forest. The dinner there was deafening. Wind was bending trees, and rain was shrieking through branches, and close by lightning cracked bright through a trunk with the sharp sound of an axe splitting a solid piece of timber. The tree crashed down in front of him. He vaulted over. Chief, somebody called. Over here, Chief! He couldn't see the face. He only saw the body huddled by a tree. Over here, Chief! The man was waving his arm in wide gestures. Teasel charged over to him, grabbing his shirt front. It was Mitch. What are you doing? Mitch said. What's the matter with you? He went over the side, Teasel said. Drawing back his fist, he punched Mitch hard in the teeth, jolting him against the tree and into the mud. Christ, Mitch said. He shook his head, shook it again. He moaned and held his bloody mouth. Christ, what's the matter with you? He was crying. Less than the others ran. I stayed behind to stuck with you. Teasel must have made it into the forest by now. Rambo was certain of it. The storm had been going on too long and heavy. Teasel and his men could not have held out on that open ledge. With the rain giving them cover so he could not see to shoot, they must have taken their chance to get up that slope and into the trees. That was all right. They would not be far. He had done a lot of this kind of work in the rain, and he knew exactly how to hunt men down in it. He came out of the bushes and trees, bearing through the rain toward the base of the cliff. In the confusion of the storm, he knew he could escape the other way, deep into the forest, if he wanted. Judging from the wide, dense cover, he could be hours and miles away before the storm cleared enough for Teasel to track him. So far away that Teasel would never be able to catch up to him again. It was possible that after the ambush and the rain, Teasel might not even have the heart to chase after him. But that didn't matter. For the moment, he was determined not to run anymore, whether he was being chased or not. He had been lying sheltered under the bushes, watching the top of the cliff for another target, thinking about how Teasel had made him into a killer once more, and had got him wanted for murder. Growing angrier as he thought about all the months, 2 months at least, that he would have to run and hide before he reached Mexico. And for now, by God, he was going to turn the game and make Teasel run from him. Show him what the hell it felt like. That bastard was going to pay for this. But you asked for some of it yourself. It wasn't only Teasel. You could have backed off. For the 16th time, for Christ's sake, no way. Even if it was for the 100th time. So what? Backing off would have been better than this? Leave it alone. End it. Get away. And let him do this to somebody else. Screw. He has to be stopped. What? That's not why you're doing this. Admit you wanted all this to happen. You asked for it. So you could show him what you knew. Surprise him when he found you were the wrong guy to try and handle. You like this. I didn't ask for anything, but damn right I like it. That bastard is going to pay. The land was dark. His clothes clung icy to the skin. Ahead, long slick grass was bent over in the driving rain, and he waded through, the grass slippery on his smooth wet pants. He came to the stones and rocks that led up toward the base of the cliff, and he stepped cautiously onto them. There were streams of water swirling between them and over them, and in the wind it would be easy to slip and fall and hurt his ribs some more. They were throbbing from when he had leapt off the cliff and crashed against a tree limb. And each time he breathed, he felt something pressing sharply inside his right chest. It was like a big fishhook in there, or a jagged chunk of broken bottle. He would have to fix it soon, very soon. There was a roar. He had heard it back in the trees and had guessed it was from the sound of the wind and rain.